and put them up on the internet.
Yes, ma'am.
Causing you all kinds of aggravation and stress.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, she has to prove that to me.
Correct.
And I assume she's going to be able to prove that to me. At least I would suspect that she was here and was able to prove that to me. You would agree, Mr. Washington, that a person who maliciously posts photographs that were inclined to embarrass somebody is a lowlife, piece of dirt. You would agree with that, right?
Oh, of course, Your Honor.
Because that's what I think that they are. Somebody who intentionally would take a photograph that was not intended for them and publish it with the idea of embarrassing somebody really would deserve to pay. You would agree with that?
Of course.
Great. You have the photograph?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Okay. Outrageous, stupid for you to send. You know, you're young, you get to be older, you recognize you don't take pictures or allow somebody else to take pictures of you that don't make you look your best. Believe me, I know that. I go like this a lot. Prove to me that he posted them.
I actually have a recording. Once the pictures were posted, I called Jasmine in regards to that, and they were arguing over the phone.
Who? You mean Mr. Washington and Jasmine?
Yes, they were arguing over the phone.
They were together?
I believe so. At the time, they were together when the picture was posted. Yes,
No. I mean, when you called Jasmine, Mr. Washington was there.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, then how do you know that they were arguing?
Because I picked Jasmine up alone, and Jasmine and Mr. Washington was on the phone together while she was with me.
Okay, so she was with you, and you have a recording of her speaking to Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Where he acknowledges that he posted the pictures.
Or that he will threaten to post things that are in her personal phone. That's what it was.
Or that he had possession of her phone that were in her personal phone and he threatened to post them.
Yes.
You think she has that?
That conversation never took place, so I don't see how she could.
Just a second. Let's just be clear. You never had a conversation with your girlfriend, Jasmine, about the fact that you had gotten possession of her personal phone. Look at my eyes. Be careful what you say. Are you telling me that you never had a conversation with Jasmine about the fact that you had gotten possession of her personal phone and saw pictures of the plaintiff? Are you telling me you never had that conversation with Jasmine?
There was a time when Jasmine called me and asked me a pointed question, and I answered.
And said, come on.
She asked me, did I post pictures of LaRonda?
Well, in order to ask if you posted pictures of the plaintiff, you had to have possession of her phone. I'm not stupid. Do you understand?
That is correct. That is what she asked me.
Had you had possession of her phone for a period of time?
No, and at the time when she asked that question, she was in possession of her own phone.
I didn't ask you whether at the time, whether she had possession of her phone. I asked you whether or not at some period of time you took, I don't care if it's for 5 minutes, possession of her phone and looked through her phone. Is that what you're telling me? Be careful what you say, sir. You never know where I'm going. So it's always better to tell me the truth. She still may not be able to prove that you posted the pictures, but don't think about lying to me. Was there a time, even for 5 minutes, that you had possession of her phone and saw pictures of the plaintiff?
I've been with Jasmine for 3 years. There's many times when I've had possession of her phone. None of those times have I ever seen pictures of LaRonda.
Now I'll hear it.
Video. Give me my keys. Told you what I would do if you didn't give me my. And you didn't, knowing the consequences.
What? Did you post the new pictures because you were...
Because you wouldn't get my keys. I begged you for 3 hours from my... and told you what the consequences was going to be. And you told me to do it. All I wanted was my... but told you I wasn't no more.
Is that it? Yes, ma'am. Now, when did you have this argument with your girlfriend about your keys and your property?
I don't remember having such argument with Jasmine about...
Well, that's you on the phone.
No.
That's not you on the phone.
No.
Can I have your girlfriend's telephone number?
Yes.
Is she traveling with you today?
Yes.
So she's in the back?
Yes.
Bring her out, please. It can be easy or it can be hard. Because, you see, this is the problem. If your girlfriend, because you're back on again, correct?
That's true.
If she refuses to come out, if she cared about you and supported your version of the events, what she would do is come out and tell me that. Do you understand? If she refuses to come out, that means he's my guy, and I'm not going to testify against him.
Or could it possibly...
Do you understand? No,
Or
it
could it
couldn't
possibly
possibly
she
be.
doesn't want to be
No.
caught up in the middle of this?
No, couldn't possibly be that. Impossible that it could possibly be that.
I think that's a great possibility.
No, there is no possibility, because if the pictures were only sent to your girlfriend, her mother, her brother, somebody else, it's possible. But more likely you, because of something that you said to me at the very beginning of this case when I said the plaintiff and your girlfriend were friends. And you said, do you remember what you said?
More than friends.
More than friends. That was telling to me. So it wasn't, yes, they were friends. There was nothing to be wrong. They were friends. You had an itch. Fred, would you bring the witness up here, please, and swear her? Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sir.
Excuse me. What do you think? This is the love connection? Would you bring the witness up here and swear her, please?
Step up here, ma'am. Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth in these matters?
Yes.
State your name for the record.
Jasmine.
Last name?
Melton.
Have a seat.
Jasmine, I want you to listen to something. Play the audio.
Videos. Give me my keys. Told you what I would do if you didn't give me my, and you didn't, knowing the consequences.
What? She posted nude pictures because you were.
Because you wouldn't give my keys. I begged you for 3 hours for my, and told you what the consequences was going to be.
Stop the audio. Now, remember that conversation? My question is, do you remember the conversation?
Yes.
You were in the car with the plaintiff. Uh-huh is not an answer. Yes is an answer, or no.
Yes.
And you were talking to your boyfriend.
Yes.
And at the time you had an argument with him. He wanted some property.
Yes.
What property did he want?
I don't recall. I don't remember what we was arguing about.
Well, he wanted his keys. Does that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
He wanted his keys. Keys to what?
Keys to his
Car. And when he said that you had fought, because there's much more to this audio tape, which I've heard before you got here. So you had an argument, but she said lasted 3 hours. Did it last 3 hours?
Somewhat.
And during that time, he threatened to do something. What did he threaten to do?
I don't recall. We was arguing about a lot of stuff that day. There was a lot going on.
But you do remember the argument, and you do remember the car.
Yeah.
Good. She can go out now. See, I didn't even have to break up your relationship. All I had to prove that you were a liar, because you said that wasn't you, right?
Wasn't me.
I didn't have to do anything else. I didn't have to break up the romance. All I had to do was say who's lying and who's not. And the liar would be you, because that was you. That's what she says. Unless she's a liar. Is she a liar?
She's confused, Your Honor.
No, she's not confused.
She
didn't look confused to me. She didn't look confused to me.
She's confused, Your Honor.
And I know the difference between confused and lying. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished.
All you are excused. You may step out.
Her and my girlfriend had their own relationship.
I don't have anything to say.
I'm just glad it's over.
I'm done with it. I don't want to talk about it no more.
Guess today law prevailed.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shannon Lennison versus Berry. Step forward.
23-year-olds Forbes Shannon and Zach Lennison are suing their former roommate, Michael Burry, for breaking their lease and causing damage to the home. Michael is countersuing for an illegal eviction, storage fees, and assault.
All right. The three of you tried to be roommates. It didn't work out, and now you're bothering us.
You're right, Your Honor.
You're right. I know I'm right. So let's deal with this quickly and expeditiously, because it's sushi day today.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I only let him stay for a weekend.
Now it's a weekend. It went, Mr. Burry, from one night to a weekend.
Yeah, he was there
Left.
for 1 day. Or 2 nights, I mean.
You got to get your story straight, son.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know, and I know that you know.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Forbes Shannon and Zach Lennison say former roommate Michael Burry owes for breaking a lease and damaging property.
Now, the three of you moved into an apartment on what date?
We moved into a house together August 1st, 2017.
And according to both of you, because there is a claim and a cross-claim for an assault, let's get rid of that first. According to you,
Yes.
Your last name is?
Shannon. Your Honor.
Shannon, Mr. Shannon. There was an incident in the house involving the defendant where he was drunk, and that was back in August, the month you moved in.
You're right, Your Honor. There were... Oh,
Just
sorry.
a second, correct? And that's the same incident that you refer to in August, the month you moved in.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. And then you remained living together. I assume there was no police action taken with regard to this alleged assault back in August?
No, Your Honor. The interaction actually started with a police officer, Your Honor.
No, well, I understand it started with a police officer. According to you, calling to say that he was drunk, could you please send a car or come and pick him up from someplace? I don't care. But there was no police reports with regard to these alleged assaults back in August of 2017. And the three of you continued to reside together for another 6 months until the next incident, which you allege is in January of 2018. So you lived together August, September, October, November, December, and January, 6 months. So I don't care about the assault. You understand? It's like two married people having a fight. They have a fight. They tussle around. Then they continue to live together for 2 years. One of them finally says, I want a divorce. And all of a sudden, this tussle that they had 2 years before becomes a major Geschichte. So you continue to live as three nice married people from August until January. And then in January, Mr. Burry, did you have a friend move in with you?
No, Your Honor.
Did you have a friend come to stay with you?
He stayed for one night.
Did you have a friend come to stay with you? What's the friend's name?
Seth.
On what date did he come?
It was in January. I don't know an exact day.
Why did he come?
He wanted to move here. I let him stay for a day.
Just a second. He wanted to move to where?
Phoenix.
Did you discuss that with your roommates?
Yes, I did.
Okay, which one? Or both?
I talked to both of them. I originally told them he would be staying for a week. When they said no, I only let him stay for a weekend.
Well, now it's a weekend. It went, Mr. Burry, from one night to a weekend. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that incident resulted in the landlord telling you he couldn't stay.
I never spoke to the landlord.
Well, he moved out, right? He left.
Yeah, he was there for 1 day. Or 2 nights, I mean. 2 nights.
You got to get your story straight, sir.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know, and I know that you know.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you don't think that I think it was a good idea for you to say, listen, move out because this is not working out, then there's something wrong with you. And I thought that here you came in a suit with a tie that you were normal.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Forbes Shannon and Zach Lennison say former roommate Michael Burry owes for breaking a lease and damaging property.
So that incident resulted in the landlord telling you he couldn't stay.
I never spoke to the landlord.
Well, he moved out, right? He left.
Yeah, he was there for 1 day. Or 2 nights, I mean.
You got to get your story straight, sir.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know, and I know that you know. Okay. So that was in January. But at that point, you had sort of had it with each other because they wanted him out, and you decided it was best that you terminate this roommate relationship. That's according to the complaint and the answer that I got. You certainly didn't want to live with people who, according to you, intimidated you and beat you, right?
No,
and they didn't want to live with somebody that they allege is a drunk and was assaultive. So it was a good idea that you move out.
We came to mutual agreement that I would move out. He brought up the...
Your Honor.
That they wanted another
just a second.
Sorry.
Just a second. Well, Mr. Shannon, if you don't think that I think it was a good idea for you to say, listen, move out because this is not working out, then there's something wrong with you. And I thought that here you came in a suit with a tie that you were normal. I wouldn't want to live with somebody who was assaultive and brings a criminal friend home that you had to get the landlord involved with.
Absolutely.
Right? You're not an idiot.
No,
right?
Your
So
Honor.
you would have been happy if he left.
Yes, we did have a
course.
conversation about him leaving.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, for sure.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing that he left.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he did leave in April. And he paid his rent for January,
Yes, Your Honor.
February,
Yes, Your Honor.
March,
Yes, Your Honor.
and he left in April. You left the beginning, middle, or end of April.
The last day of April.
Did you
Your Honor.
pay April's rent?
Yes.
Are you still in the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good for you.
Thank you.
That's great. Do you like it?
Yeah, I do like it.
Very
Your
much.
Honor. Thank you.
More peaceful now.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Good.
And
who's living there with you?
so we have a friend that's moving in on July 1st. That's when he moves in.
Well, but he was supposed to move in before.
We have...
Just
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you still in the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good for you.
Thank you.
That's great. Do you like it?
Yeah, I do like it.
Very
Your
much.
Honor. Thank you.
More peaceful now.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Good.
And
who's living there with you?
so we have a friend that's moving in on July 1st. That's when he moves in.
Well, but he was supposed to move in before.
We have...
But he was supposed to move in before.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have no case. Neither do you. Do you understand? It didn't work out.
Your Honor, if I may say something.
You could say whatever you want.
Okay.
Within 30 seconds.
Okay, Your Honor. Yes, absolutely. We did suggest that the defendant move out because it obviously wasn't working for any of us. But we made it very, very, very clear that neither plaintiff or I could afford to pay this rent that he agreed to.
Okay.
So the argument really was, I spoke with our land leasing company, and there is...
Just a second. You had this discussion with him in January.
Yeah, we had this discussion.
You had this discussion in January. Mr. Shannon, listen to me very carefully. He didn't move out until the end of April. That gave you January, February, March, and April, 4 months to find a third roommate. If you didn't, that's your problem. Goodbye.
Oh, he's excused. Let's step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He threw her up in the air.
The dog was severely injured.
A threat follows a mauling.
I did tell him that if this dog comes back over on our place, I'm going to have to kill it.
Is his exotic dog a predator?
Do you know that it is... What kind of dogs do you have?
2 pits.
2 pit bulls.
A girl and her dog are overpowered.
They had her on the ground and they were tearing at her. She was bleeding everywhere. And then as soon as they got...
Then attacked all over again?
Tell me about the threat the next day.
She started yelling from across the street at me.
Her bad puppy had more to learn.
We're starting off in a very bad place, you and I.
A friend's help got her on the road.
She signed for the loan. You hit a patch of black ice and you totaled the car.
But her slippery defense...
It was never my car.
...is where the real spin starts.
I was holding her vehicle for her. Once she told me you can use the extra car, help me hide it from my family, fine, cool.
Your story is ridiculous.
Judge Judy.
You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Morgan, how old is your daughter?
She'll be 27 in August.
And your son?
He's 30.
What's your daughter's name?
Kira?
Chase.
Okay, so Kara and Chase were in a relationship, and Chase was arrested.
He was.
For what?
It was a breaking and entering, destruction of property.
When was he arrested?
This was in June.
Of what year?
2014.
And at that time, Kara and Chase were still together.
I'm not really sure because Kira wasn't living with me at the time.
She was living with me. They were together. She was there when that arrest took place.
They were living with you?
Yes, they were.
Month and year?
That I can't tell you. There were so many incidences that took place at that time. Kara didn't have a place to go, so I offered her my home temporarily.
When?
She had been there approximately 2 or 3 months at that point, I believe.
Before your son was arrested?
That's correct, yes.
So she was living with you.
She was.
He was arrested, and somebody called you for money for a lawyer for him?
That is correct.
Who called you?
Miss Rebecca Wojak.
That is absolutely not. I'm sorry.
How did you know her?
I didn't know her. Kira had been asking me that Rebecca needed money because she needed to pay a lawyer and she also needed to bond him out.
Just a second. So you're having discussions with your daughter, Kara?
Yes.
Kara said, my boyfriend needs money.
No, she said, Rebecca needs to borrow some money.
That doesn't sound kosher to me. That doesn't even sound reasonable to me. Your daughter, who was 26, didn't say, my boyfriend's mommy needs money for a lawyer to bail him out of jail. She would say, my boyfriend got arrested and we have to bail him out of jail. Rebecca doesn't have money. Maybe she said that to you. Didn't say Rebecca has to borrow money. No way. You want to start again with me, Miss Morgan?
I was told that Rebecca needed to borrow some money to bail Chase out of jail.
Yes.
And I told my daughter I would not put anything on my charge card without speaking to Rebecca. And so Rebecca called me.
And?
And she asked to borrow the money to pay a lawyer for her son.
Tell me about the conversation.
Okay, Rebecca called me on the phone and we talked about how her son and my daughter had had different issues and entanglements with the law and how unhappy we were about that. But unfortunately, it was what it was. And she needed to borrow some money, $1,300, to pay her lawyer for Chase.
And?
And the next day, we all went down to the courthouse.
Who's all?
Me, my daughter, Rebecca, and Oates.
Who was that?
He was someone who had to co-sign for Rebecca.
With whom? With the bail bondsman?
Yes.
How much was the bail?
May I speak?
Just answer my question.
I couldn't tell you how much that bail was. I have no idea.
Who was Mr. Oates?
It was a friend of her daughter's. I did not know this person.
Oh, so you didn't know him?
No, I did not know him. Now, he did come to my home. As I explained to him, I was completely against this. My son had very serious issues. And
just a second. Did he alone sign for the bail? That's very easy. Get the record and look at it.
I believe he did. I would not sign for it.
Just a second. So the answer is you did not sign for it.
I did not sign for that.
What did you go down there for?
You know,
no, not you know. If you weren't going to sign for his bail,
I offered because these charges were 2 years old
what?
to give this much money to my son.
I'm asking you a question. Stop trying to figure where I'm going. I say to you, what was your reason for going down to the jail with Miss Morgan? You weren't going to help him. You weren't going to pay for anything. So what'd you go for?
Of course I wanted to help my son, but that's not the way to help him. But my son had been in prison before for narcotics.
What did you go down to the jail?
I love my son. I love him.
What did you go down to the jail for is my question.
You know, I had money to give Kara. I said, this is how much I will give towards my son. This is it. You can call his father.
No, just a second. You had money for what?
You know, there were so many instances, and I don't mean to sound...
Just a second. This is not so long ago. How much money did you go down there with on July 2nd?
Your Honor, not to be disrespectful, but I have been traumatized and paralyzed with police busting through my home on so many occasions.
Did you go down there with $200? Did you go down there with $1,000? Did you go down there with $5,000?
No, it was over $1,000. It was over $1,000. And I had money, and I said, this is what I will contribute.
So that this is what you will contribute towards his bail or to his bail and lawyer?
It didn't matter where it went. This is what I was going to put in.
This is what you were putting into the pot.
And I didn't feel comfortable. And I made it clear to Mr. Oates.
Just a second. So we went from I'm not helping him out at all to I'm prepared to put this much into the money pot. And there was a certain amount that you had, but right now you don't remember what that amount was.
I honestly cannot tell you
the answer is either yes or no.
If those charges had not been from 2 years before, I absolutely would not have. And I did still feel comfortable because
no, just listen to me. I don't really have time for dramatics.
Right.
If I were taller, I would be a runway model. I'm not. If I were younger, I might want to add to my family.
Right.
I'm not. So I don't care if it was this, if it could have been that. All I asked you was, how much money, now that we've agreed that you did in fact bring money to the jail
I did, yes.
on July 2nd, I'm asking you whether you brought $500 or $1,000. You said it was at least $1,000, but you said this is all I'm prepared to contribute.
That's correct.
Those were your words.
That's correct.
Well, then those words suggest that someone else was supposed to contribute.
That's
that
correct.
Means somebody else is going to... So my
Her
question
daughter
to
wanted
you
my son out and was relentless about it and would not stop. And I said, you can call his dad, you can do whatever you want.
I didn't hear what you said.
Her daughter was relentless. I didn't realize.
Relentless with regard to what?
Getting my son out. She would not stop. And I'm a little bit of a soft person where I shouldn't be sometimes, okay? I wouldn't speak to my son, who kept calling because I knew if I talked to him, he would break me down because I do love him, okay? And it's a very, very difficult situation to be in as a mother. What I realized, and I said to Kara, I said, you know what? What's going on here is my son you're his voice. You're talking to him 24/7 from this jail, and you are coming at me relentlessly. You will not give me a moment of peace.
Okay. And so is what you're saying to me, you did not have a conversation with Ms. Morgan.
Absolutely not.
Just a second. Where you said to her, can you loan me $1,300?
Never. Never. I would never have done that. First, that's not me.
Just a second. Tell me a little something about who do you live with?
I live with, I have a son who is 27, and it's he and I right now.
Okay. Are you employed?
No, ma'am.
How do you support yourself?
I have a relation with a man that is a friend of mine who has helped me, and that's how I got the money. He would send me a check every month.
So someone takes care of it?
Yes, ma'am.
And has that been a long-standing thing?
It has, and he's a very dear friend of mine.
Okay. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
In a home.
Own or rent?
Own.
You drive a car?
A car that gentleman gave me, yes.
So you have a car?
Oh, yes.
At your disposal. And when her daughter lived with you, another car was either given to her or she was
I gave it to her to use to get a job, to help her and my son to do what was right. I put the insurance on it. I paid the insurance for them. I gave her daughter a cell phone that was in my name to use so she would have communication. I was trying to help her daughter, who I believed wanted to help herself, which I later found out that neither her or my son had any intention of this, that they need help. They both do.
Okay. So, Ms. Morgan, now I'm going to come back to you. I would like to see what other proof that you have that you created a loan situation with the defendant for the $1,300.
She paid me $300 of it back, Your Honor.
When?
It was a couple weeks after the 4th of July weekend.
Of 2014?
Yes.
Tell me about the repayment of the $300.
Well, she gave Kara the $300 to give to me for the $1,300 loan for the lawyer.
Just a second. Did you have a conversation with her about it?
Yes, I have been contacting Rebecca on and off for almost a year now.
No.
For the $300?
Yes, for the
Yes. We also text about that, and I don't have that text either, Your Honor, because my phone broke, and I had to send it in, and then I lost all the text.
5'8", runway.
But, yes.
Did you give her daughter $300 to give to her in July of 2014?
I gave her daughter a total of $400. It was not for repayment of a loan.
What was it?
Kara kept coming to me. Her mother takes care of her son, Kara's son, full-time.
Kara has a child.
Kara has a child, but Kara's mother takes care of the child.
How old is that child?
He's 6. He just turned 6.
Okay.
Kara asked me, because I found out about her telling her mother I was going to pay this back at the jail. I walked out of that jail when my son got bailed out. I was so appalled I couldn't even speak when she looked at me and said, "You will have my money tomorrow." And I looked at her and I looked at Kara and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was so...
No drama. I'm the only
No,
drama.
I'm sorry. I'm a drama girl. You know, I'm sorry.
I know.
But I walked out. But because I'm getting messages from this woman that I'm not responding to. I am
Would
not
you just tell me what the $300 was for?
For this child to eat. I'm getting messages this child has no food. It has no clothes. And I said, Kara, give this money to your mother. There was nothing about this. I don't owe this woman this money. I didn't take a loan from this woman.
Just a second.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Just a second. You gave Kara $400.
I gave her $400.
Okay. How come you remember the $400 that you gave to Kara on July 4th? But you don't remember how much money you brought to the jail 3 days before.
Okay, well, I remember because Bruce had just sent me a $5,000 check. And I have bills that I have to take care of. And I do those when I get his check. And I said, you know, I will give you, and I know it was, I cannot tell you the dollar amount. I wish I could. And I probably should be able to, but I couldn't prepare very well for this.
Just a second. I'm just asking you because you
No,
were
I mean, honestly, the truth is, I just don't know.
Drama.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And later today, Morgan says the mother of her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Rebecca Wojak, owes for a loan to pay her son's attorney fees. Rebecca claims Sandra is making up a story.
I'm just curious that you remember it wasn't $300. I gave her daughter, it was $400, when you couldn't remember in the same month how many thousands of dollars you brought to the jail to bail out your son. One would be something that I would remember, and one maybe would say, I don't know if I gave her $300 or $400, but you knew that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but this woman has relentlessly called my phone, texted me, sat in my driveway for almost 5 hours and would not leave. My daughter, I don't bring police to my home. I don't live this way. This is not how I live. My daughter's threatening to call the police. I'm like, texting her, would you please just leave my driveway? I don't want police at my house. I don't want these issues.
Before I ask you anything else, do you have any other proof of a loan?
Yeah, she paid me back $300. She also texted me that she would pay me back my money.
You don't have the text?
She does.
How do you know what I...
Because you told me, Rebecca, that you had everything and you had everything recorded and that you
Just a second. I asked you if you had any other proof.
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Where's your daughter?
My daughter is in a facility waiting for a rehab bed.
And yours?
Oh, my son's in prison.
For
and how
40
long
years,
is this?
Your Honor.
I didn't ask you a question. For how long?
I would not allow him to tell me. I had been this road before.
Okay. For a period of time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Anything else you have to tell me, Miss Morgan?
Yes, I do.
I just want any other proof that you have that you made a loan to the defendant.
No, other than her calling and asking me for that loan, I do not.
And that's something that I have to believe.
Okay.
Which I don't. Your case is dismissed. I don't believe that there was a loan. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You can step out.
I'm pretty upset about it. I'm pretty upset that I didn't get the money.
This woman has serious issues, and I wouldn't speak with her or answer her text messages.
That I really felt that Rebecca knows it.
Because it was on borderline harassment of just, I didn't even understand it.
She told me time and time again how she was going to pay me the money.
I mean, what she does or doesn't do is irrelevant to me.
And she just never came up with the money.
I just hope these kids could help.
Turn of an engagement ring.
Mr. Buchanan, you and the defendant were a couple. You became engaged at some point. You gave the defendant an engagement ring. Also, during the course of your engagement, according to you, you made a loan to her. The loan was to fix her car.
That's correct.
The engagement didn't turn into a marriage, which is either fortunate or unfortunate, depending upon whose perspective you're viewing that event. And you would like the engagement ring back, and you would like the loan paid for the car. That's what the case is about. It's simple. Ms. Gagliano, when were you engaged?
November 17th of 2014.
Is this your first engagement?
No.
How many times have you been married?
Twice.
Did you get engagement rings both times?
Yes.
And after you were divorced, you kept them?
Yes.
This one you can't keep?
But I can.
No, you can't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Liano owes for a loan and an engagement ring.
Now, because this engagement ring did not turn into a marriage.
But I do have a text. That
You have a what?
He texted me to let me know that the engagement ring was a gift.
Well, of course it was a gift. It was a gift made in contemplation of getting married.
Under a condition.
Shh. Does it sound like you're losing? And I know that your experience in your last 2 marriages suggested that you got to keep the rock. But an engagement ring is a gift. You are absolutely right. It is a gift made in contemplation that an event will occur. And the event is a marriage. That's the nature of an engagement ring. It's a conditional gift. The condition of the gift is that the two of you walk down the aisle. I don't care if you're married for an hour, but you weren't married for an hour, and he has to get the ring back. How much did you pay for the ring, by the way?
The total was $2,247.
Was that just for the ring, or was that for the ring and the wedding bands, which she did return?
She did return the wedding band.
How much was just the ring?
Around $2,000.
I don't know. Right, it's not the answer. You're getting it back. The ring goes back to Mr. Buchanan.
I don't have the ring.
Really? Then he's going to put a lien on your car.
I have not.
Let me explain what I'm going to do. Let me explain what I'm going to do, madam. He fixed your car, and I was actually prepared to say to Mr. Buchanan, listen, you're engaged, you were acting like a hero, she needed new struts for her car, you paid for them, whatever.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I am now going to direct the Department of Motor Vehicles to put a lien on your title to the car. Do you understand?
No.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. How's that?
And why?
How's that? Why? Because I don't like when you come here and say I don't have the ring. That's why.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay. The reason I don't have the ring is because I moved 3 months ago, and I had a lot of people help me move. I have no clue.
I don't believe you.
I swear.
I don't care whether you swear. I don't believe you.
I don't.
I don't believe you. So that's what I'm going to do. The vehicles put a lien on her car, which means what kind of a car does she have?
A Sebring.
What year?
I believe 2008.
Great.
Is that correct?
Which don't ask her.
Okay.
If you don't know, you don't know. We'll find out because it's part of all the paperwork that we take.
Okay.
So we have her driver's license and everything else. We're going to put a lien on your car. Okay. So how much did you pay to have the car fixed?
It was $923.53.
Fine. $923.53.
Yes, for the struts.
She says she doesn't have the ring. I can't give you something that she says she doesn't have, but I have to make it hurt because I don't believe her.
She's probably
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I did not pawn it.
I want you to be quiet. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, I do.
Sir.
Yes.
Great. That's what we're going to do. She'll never be able to sell the car without paying you first. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I should have gotten the ring back or the money or something out of her.
I didn't think it was fair to put a lien on my car because I do have it in a text.
I have a couple texts.
That the engagement ring was a gift.
Saying that she owes me.
Who knows? He has a new girlfriend.
I don't think she really wanted it to work out, actually.
Oh, believe me, it'll be a while before anything.
Date somebody a little longer, you know. This was a quick one, so.